mission statement has always began with the words, to build a great place to work. And we've been able to develop an extremely good culture to support that. You know, people talk about having culture, and everybody does, I think, but we really can talk about it here. I've been out of the loop for 5 years, but I drive by the place often, and I still get a rush every time I do. In 1989, a company called Tri-L, which was a division of Lights Transfer and Storage here in Green Bay, was hauling about 30 to 35 loads a day for Fort Howard. Their tissue towelling and toilet paper. They were delivering most of those loads inside of a 500-mile radius. And on a Monday in November of 1989, they called up Fort Howard and told them Friday was going to be their last day. They were closing the business. Amy Grimsley, one of our founders, worked at Fort Howard in the transportation department, of course, so she was aware of the information. Her husband Roger, who was another one of our founders, was making a delivery. He was an owner-operator. He was making a delivery that morning in California. He unloaded and reloaded. He was heading back to Wisconsin. And he called Amy that night, and she told him about it. And that night, they made a couple decisions. Number one, they wanted to start a trucking company and replace some of that capacity at Fort Howard. And another decision they made, which was very good for me, is they called me up and asked me if I would help them start the company. I actually at one time thought if we got to 20, 30 trucks, that would really be good. We blew by that in the first 3 years. And actually, for the first 12 years, we did very little to promote or acknowledge or talk about culture. We were pretty much focused on keeping the company running, growing, surviving, succeeding. And then on September 18th, a week after 9/11, Craig Dickman joined the company, took over the leadership role. And well, first of all, Joan and I used to talk about building a great place to work because I worked for one, but we didn't go anywhere with that. Everything else we had was, I hope, by example or whatever, or the people who came to work with us, who brought things that when they had great things from other companies, and somehow it melded together. But Craig Dickman joined the company and took over a leadership role, and within a month, and we had no discussion whatever, he brought in a mission statement, documented, with a list of values. And that mission statement was exactly to build a great place to work, where outstanding people deliver cost-effective, reliable transportation solutions that enhances our customers' competitive position. I thought it was amazing because I've always had to build a great place to work in my mind. I had many things that reminded me of that daily. His values, there were 6. Number 1 was customer first, people count. Number 2, number 3 was safety always. Number 4, reality-based business, reality-based business. Number 5 was collaborate to be better, and number 6 was the ability to cause and affect change.
Actually, over the last few days, I spent some time with Lennie, who was one of the founders of the company, just talking to him about how he lived his life and everything that he did. And when you're a small business, or actually, you know what, it doesn't matter what size business you are, the leader of that business, or even it goes down deeper into the company, the leader of, when you get a big company, is those divisions or that office, it takes on the personality of that leader. And that's why it's so important to have, as we grow as a company, to have good leaders throughout the organization. And that's also why we established those cultural behaviors, is so that, because, you know, when it was Lennie and Roger, their personal values drove the culture of the company. But as the company grows, we don't have Lennie and Roger working at each one of our different offices or each one of our different divisions. So we have those 15 culture behavior statements so that everybody can point to those and say, this is the way we're supposed to behave.
There's just an extraordinary team here that makes this company work. I would take our over 900 some drivers and stand them next to anybody's very proudly because of how they work and operate. There's another, somewhere around 250 extremely talented and hardworking people who make all this work.
I think that the culture here is about, succeeding as a team, growing the organization, providing opportunities for employees. Our mission is to build a great place to work. Number one, you have to be safe in order to do that, which is our first, core value. And number two, you got to understand what drives every employee and every customer we work with. So I think we stay vigilantly focused on those three things: our mission and two core values.
When I came to Paper Transport, I'm employee number 79. We're up there around the 7,000 mark now as far as, consecutive numbers. So I was, early on in the company. It was a small, tiny little company then, and as much as we've grown to where we're at now, almost 1,200 total employees, we still have that same small company feeling. We address them by name. We get to know their nicknames or their preferred name that they go by. More often than not, driver managers and even us on the safety side know hobbies, likes, dislikes, all that different stuff.
Knowing that without the driver, we have no company. You take away the driver, it's gone. There's only one thing that makes this company work, and it's the driver. And all the rest of it is the support it takes to keep all that working so we have a company. And I'm very aware. The driver has always been, now I'm not going to try and tell you we've always done the perfect thing for every driver, because we make mistakes, but for the most part we've tried very hard to keep the driver first.
It's going to go back to 1997, and we are the same company now that we were in 1997, but we still have, I always call it the spirit of Lennie. And it was 1997, my trailer was broken down in Mount Comfort, Indiana, and I called up, and it was bad. It was, an axle burned the wheels off an axle. And it's a major breakdown back then on the trailer. We have better systems now, so that shouldn't happen anymore. And I called up and Lennie answered the phone, and it's, I need to get home this weekend. And he said, Jeff, we'll get you home. Lennie, you don't understand, I really need to be home this weekend. I'm getting married this weekend. And Lennie says, don't worry, Jeff, no matter what happens, you'll be there for your wedding. And I was there for my wedding. And Lennie and Joan came. We didn't invite them. They just showed up. And really appreciated that. I haven't forgotten that not only did he get me home, but then he came to the wedding. And then I remember when I came back in 2012, he always said, I knew you'd come back. So yeah, I think as long as we have the spirit of Lennie, we'll be a little bit different than any other truck company.